Last time we talked about the first property of proportions, the cross product property. In a proportion, the product of the extremes is equal to the product of the means. This is what you're used to doing when you cross multiply. So A over B equals C over D if and only if A times D equals B times C. This is the property that lets you cross multiply. So to continue with our properties of proportions, we have our reciprocal property. If two ratios are equal, then their reciprocals are also equal. So if A over B equals C over D, you can take the reciprocal and say B over A equals D over C. For example, 2 over x equals 5 over 8. Then x over 2 equals 8 over 5. The next property of proportions is called interchanging the means. If you interchange the means of a proportion, you get a true proportion. So for instance, again with our example, A over B equals C over D, you can exchange the means and come up with A over C equals B over D. You'll still get a true proportion. So for example, 6 over 8 equals 3 over 4. Well, you can interchange the means and end up with 6 over 3 equals 8 over 4. They're both true statements. The last property of proportions. In a proportion, if you add the value of each ratio's denominator to its numerator, then you form another true proportion. Again, A over B equals C over D, if and only if A plus B over B equals C plus D over D. So you can add the denominator and you'll still end up with a true proportion. For example, 5 over 6 equals 15 over 18. If and only if 5 plus 6 over 6 equals 15 plus 18 over 18. And you can simplify that to be 11 over 6 equals 33 over 18. True or false? If P over 6 equals R over 10, then P over R equals 3 over 5. This is true. I wrote it as P over R equals 6 over 10 and then reduced the fraction. True or false? If A over 3 equals C over 4, then A plus 3 over 3 equals C plus 3 over 4. False. I would need to add 4 to C so that it would be C plus 4 over 4. Okay, so 4 over 2 equals 6 over 3. So 4 plus what over 2 equals 6 plus what over 3? Well, I know that I can add the denominator. So 4 plus 2 over 2 equals 6 plus 3 over 3. 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, so I'm left with 6 over 2 equals 9 over 3. Now, I can use properties of proportions to make conclusions about my diagrams. So in the diagram, M over N, or Mn over Rs equals Np over St. So I can write that as 8 over 10 equals 4 over 5. I can also write that as the reciprocal, saying 10 over 8 equals 5 over 4. Those are equivalent. Now I can interchange the means and say 8 over 4 equals 10 over 5. That's also a true proportion. And I can add the denominators and say 8 plus 10 over 10 equals 4 plus 5 over 5. That's also a true proportion.
Let's look at an example with this diagram. It says that AB over BD is equal to AC over CE, and we're going to find both AD and AB. In order to find AD, we need to find AB first, so we're going to use our proportion. We do not know what AB is, so we'll just rewrite AB over BD. Well, BD is equal to 22, so instead of BD, I will put 22. AC is equal to 27, so instead of AC, we will put 27. And CE is equal to 18, so instead of CE, we will put 18. Cross multiply, so 18 times AB equals 22 times 27. 18AB equals 594. Divide both sides by 18, and the length of segment AB is 33. So now if we want to find AD, we can use our segment addition postulate and know that BD plus AB will get us AD. So AD is 22 plus 33, which is 55.
A scale drawing is a drawing that is the same shape as the object that it represents. The scale is a ratio that describes how the dimensions in the drawing are related to the actual dimensions of the object.
All right, we're going to look at an example with a map as a scale drawing. Remembering that a scale is always going to describe the drawing to the actual. So two cities are 96 miles from each other. That's my actual. And they're 4 inches apart on a map. That's my drawing. So we're going to find the scale of the map. Again, we look at the drawing, which is 4 inches, over the actual, which is 96 miles. But we're not actually done yet because our dimensions don't match. We need to have them in the same units. So 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet, and 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Now our miles can cancel, our feet can cancel, and our inches can cancel. So 4 times 1 times 1 is 4, and 96 times 5,280 times 12 is 6,082,560. And we go ahead and divide the numerator by the denominator. To simplify it, we're going to get 0.00000657 to 1. And that is our scale.